Hey guys, what's up? It's Trunks, and I'm back at you guys with another war recap. Today we had Fulmen Morte versus Emphatic Elite. As you can see, this came down to percentage with a tie 77 versus 77 as far as the total stars, but the deciding factor was the percentage 88.23 to 88.87. Just to show you guys how crazy this one was, this literally came down to the last attack. As you can see, myself, Claudio, and Spenny, we all hit probably within the last 4 minutes of the war. By the time we were done, there was about a minute on the clock, and we were dead even as far as percentage and stars were at that point. Mr. Precious came in and was able to hit Claudio for a 10 versus 10 high 2-star, giving the Emphatic Elite the additional percentage they needed to win this war. It was overall good war. The Town Hall breakdown was 4 Town Hall 11s, 13 Town Hall 10s, and 13 Town Hall 9s. As you see, they were able to 2-star all of our Town Hall 11s. They were able to pull off a few Town Hall 10 triples. And then all of the 9s were cleared on our side. For Fulmen Morte, we were able to 2-star all of their Town Hall 11s as well. We were able to pull off some Town Hall 10 3-stars to match Emphatic Elite's Town Hall 10 3-stars. And we cleared all of the Town Hall 9s just like they did. Looking over everything, though, it was a very solid war, very fun. Like I said, it was decided at the very last second. But we'll go ahead and get into the recaps here. The first one we're going to look at is Claudio, a Town Hall 10, coming up and taking on the Town Hall 11 for the 2-star. He's going to start this one off with a Queen Walk and a couple Baby Dragons up top to tank, while the Queen is able to take down some of the outside trash. The Baby Dragons drop some of that as well, so that way the Queen, when she steps up, he'll be able to save the Rage later, and she won't have those high point defenses beating on her right off the start. He goes ahead and gets the Rage down once the Expo locks onto the Queen, and he's able to send in some wall breakers to get that wall open under Rage. He only needs about 1 or 2. The Queen eventually is going to walk inside, and she's going to get that Eagle down, making this pretty good attack for him, because that way it'll turn the base essentially almost into a Town Hall 10 and allow him to get that extra percentage that he needs once the Eagle's out of the way. He doesn't have to worry about it hitting his main group of Valkyries coming into the core. He gets that Quad Quake down as the Queen's making her way down there. Opens up the core, or path to the core for him. Go ahead and speed this up a little bit just to get through the Queen Walk. Gets another Rage down. Once the Queen takes on the enemy Queen, he gets some Giants down out in front, and then bowlers behind, and then he brings in the Valkyries. He's got a Baby Dragon funneling the bottom to push the Valkyries into the core area of the base. Then he gets a Rage down, so that way he can get right through this Inferno relatively quick and punch right through. Get some poisons down when the Clan Castle comes out. It's a bunch of minions. The Queen steps up to where the core was broken open with the Quad Quake, and then she goes ahead and she's going to drop that Town Hall. The bowlers and the Valkyries are working their way around the outside edge, picking up that percentage that is going to help secure this to be a high 2-star percentage from a Town Hall 10. The Queen actually walks out of the core and begins to follow back behind the bowlers. Still has the healers on her, so she's able to go pretty far and ends up getting a ton of percentage in the end of this raid. Go ahead and speed it up just a little bit. He's got a wizard down on the bottom as well, working to get that extra percentage. Queen decides to have some funky AI with the building right there in front of her. She decides to shoot at the wall. But then his healers switch over onto the wizard that is walking, and they're going to allow that wizard just to go ahead and take off some of these last buildings and get some final percentage. He ends up getting a high percentage, 70% 2-star for a Town Hall 10 against a Town Hall 11, which was very helpful as far since this war was decided on percentage. Made it pretty close. The next one we're going to look at is a Town Hall 11 dip on a Town Hall 10. It's going to be from Sebastian on Batman. And he's going to come in with your typical Town Hall 11 goal and kill squad with some bowlers. Most likely to go for the Queen, 2 air defenses, and the Inferno. And then he's going to Lalu in the back portion of the base. He gets some funneling minions down right off the start, so that way his bowlers are able to walk right into the core of this base. Gets that golem down. Once the minions are about to drop the outside buildings, gets a bowler at the top to take out the camp, which is a natural funneling built tower. Gets a minion down to go ahead and finish that off. Sends in a test wall breaker, and then goes ahead and attempts to break open the wall with the rest of his wall breakers. Gets the Queen down behind that with the Grand Warden, the Barb King, and then trails his bowlers in behind. Gets that jump down to open up access to the core of the base. And then once his bowlers get in range, he'll get the poison down to take out the loon out of the clan castle. And then he rages up the bowlers and his heroes so that way they're able to punch right through the core of this base. He's got one air defense down. The Barb King steps up, takes out the queen. The queen's working on taking out the lava hound and then cleaning up the pups. He gets that poison down and the pups die off. Barb King steps up, takes out that Inferno tower, and then the queen and the Grand Warden are still working down at the bottom to collect some extra towers. Pops the queen ability to keep her up, and then he begins his La Lune portion down at 4 o'clock, trailing in 2 max hounds and then loons behind them with haste to get them into the splash damage before it switches over to his loons. Drops minions in behind to go ahead and start the cleanup early on. Freezes the sweeper and the Inferno to allow his loons to continue in. The Grand Warden steps up and gives the health buff to the loons so that way they actually last a long time through the core of this base with that extra health. Trails in another hound on the backside air defense. And then just basically sprinkles in the rest of his loons with some haste spells to get them into these final towers. He has cleanup down on the backside already working. And a ton of loons. Grand Warden makes it through the whole raid. And at that point, he's got 2 additional wizards to go ahead and finish off this cleanup. The second or third attack we will be taking a look at will be by yours truly. This one will be the 2 Golem Bitch attack coming in from the bottom. Basically, when you're looking at using this style of attack, what you want to do is look to see where the splash damage is, the wizard towers, the bomber towers, and make sure they're not close to the edge of the bases, because what you want is to have a few bowlers and wizards walk down these sides of the base, trimming the outside buildings, while the majority of your group goes into the core of the base. You'll have your heroes, Grand Warden, to go into the core, take out basically the Infernos, the high splash damage. You'll rage through them with the bowlers, and the golems will pretty much tank and get out front to get any of the bombs that are out there. You usually pop your Grand Warden ability while you're taking on the Infernos, and then have your Barb King and Queen sitting in the back picking off. Once you get on the back side of the base, there will usually be potentially coming in on how you come on the base, 1 Inferno tower left, and maybe a few splash damage towers, but at that point, your core coming through the group will be so big that the back end splash damage will not be able to compensate for the amount of skellies that are coming through the core of the base with the bowlers behind them, just rocking through everything. We'll go ahead and speed this up as the witch's attack is a little bit slower at forming, but in the end it is able to always overpower the base if properly executed. Witches get out in front, and that wizard tower actually, since the queen goes to the side, ends up taking out a few of the witches. But he's got the Grand Warden still at full health, and a queen ability still in the bag. Pops a queen ability to go ahead and get through the walls. The bowler is coming around from the top side, finally make their way around and help tank for the queen while she's able to take out the backside buildings. And then they drop the last archer tower for the 3-star. Next up, we're going to go down to the Town Hall 9 attacks. We have Date of Execution coming in, taking on Bad Intentions. He's going to come in with a perfectly placed Quad Quake and a few baby dragons up top to create a funnel. And then he's going to basically just queen walk in and take out a good portion, or queen charge the base and take out 2 air defenses and a good portion of the core of the base, and then La Lune the back side. He gets a wizard down up at 2 o'clock as well to help create that funnel. Like I said, he quad quakes perfectly to only open up the areas that he wants the queen to walk into. The baby dragons create that funnel up top. He's got a wizard down at 2 o'clock to create the funnel down at the bottom. And at this point, there's only one place for the queen to walk once she decides to come inside the space. Lures out the CC. He gets a rage down on the queen, so that way she's able to work through the clan castle. Pops the ability, and then gets the baby dragon down and the wizard as well. Queen begins to walk down, gets another rage down while the expo is working on the queen. But she steps up, takes out that mortar, and then is going to take the archer tower and then begin to walk down into the core of the base. Like I said, that quad quake was perfectly dropped, so it did not open up the other compartments, so that the queen would only have one area to walk, and that is down the base towards the other air defense and the archer towers on the back side of the base. And at this point, he drops another rage on the queen to keep her up with that expo as she's approaching the 2 additional point defenses on the back side and that sweeper. He comes in with 2 hounds on the first air defense and then trails in a couple loons behind. He gets the Barb King down early, so that way he's able to go ahead and start working on the trash. Queen's still working on the back side of the base, has both those air defense or archer towers down now, and pops a Tesla on the back side as she is working through that. He then drops a 3rd hound on the back side with some loons targeting the remaining point defenses and splash towers as everything converges onto one area. Barb King still working down the side coming from 3 o'clock down towards 6 o'clock and working to take out all the trash down in that area. He's got the queen still working up at the top on the cleanup. Lava Hound still fully unpopped. And he's got about what appears to be about 10 loons all working towards that last mortar tower. He's got lava pups at the bottom with the cleanup joining with the Barb King. Go ahead and put it in ×4. Next up, we have Buttwo coming in on this base with a Suicide Heroes and then a Mass Hog. I believe this base was previously hit, so he knew there was a Hound in the clan castle. But he gets a well-executed loon down in front of the queen, so that way she is able to get down some of those high hit point buildings prior to taking on the 2 point defenses that are out there. And this allows him to save the ability and then be able to step up and take out that queen before she steps up. Baby Dragon steps in, gets the queen down a little bit, and then the queen steps out in that poison that was previously waiting for her, and his queen is able to step over and take her out before taking on too much damage. There's not a lot of point defense back on her, so she's able to get her health back up, and then he gets the Barb King down at the bottom to go ahead and tank while he starts trailing in some of the hogs so that the point defense is not directly on them right at the start of this raid. He's then able to just commit Mass Hog to the backside, knowing that since the new update that a double giant bomb can no longer take out hogs, he's able to just devote all of his heals and come in with a good amount and just have heals down throughout the whole base, since that hound will never pop on those hogs and not do much damage. He knows he can just come straight through the base, just placing the heals where he needs to. I don't think he really loses too many hogs throughout this whole raid, actually. In the end, he has a whole group for cleanup. Queen's still working on the top side of the base, basically getting all that down. He has heals for where all of the big bombs are. And then at the end, the Lava Hound has still been untouched. The hogs come through and basically start cleaning up the rest of this base. Barb King survived through the whole raid and ends up helping with the cleanup as well. And the last update, or the last attack that we will be looking at, will be from Kellsir. He will be performing a Mass Hog as well, pretty much using the same attack style as before. He gets a Wizard down to help with the funnel, gets the Baby Dragon down, has healers on the Queen where she's going to step up and take out some of these buildings, and then begin to just walk through the top side of the base towards 12 o'clock. Queen steps over, he gets a poison down to slow down the enemy Queen, pops the ability to go ahead and take her out relatively quick, and then gets the Barb King down up at top to help tank with the Queen. Then he's able to just start his hogs down from the bottom, and once again, since the double giant bombs don't do anything, he has 4 heals for the hogs and is able just to devote a good portion of the hogs for wherever the big bombs are in the base. Hound comes out of the clan castle, which is ignored by the hogs as they continue to work through the base. He continues to trail in more hogs. Basically, looking at this style, if you ever know off the first hit that there is a hound in the CC, and you have the ability to get the enemy Archer Queen relatively easily with a Queen Walk or any other form of entry without locking the hound onto the kill squad or the Queen. Mass hogs is the tack to use, since you will be able to just heal your hogs throughout the whole base, and you can drop them basically targeting all the main towers on the outside. He has the queen basically working now on cleanup. She switches over to go for the lava hound, but as it moves with the hogs, it runs away from the queen. Healers switch over onto the hogs to keep them up, and at this point he's got about 15 hogs at least working to clean up the rest of this base. Like I said, this will be the last replay, so if you guys have made it this far in the video and you like what you've seen, go ahead, hit the subscribe button. I'll have more content coming out, more how-to guides. But until next time, guys, this is Trunk signing out.